Okay, so let's start with the first movie. Um, the first Terminator, I have to admit, is actually my favorite of the series, mainly because I'm more into into like darker films, like darker sci-fi. Because and I know a lot of people say the second Terminator was better than the first one. The second Terminator, I do like the second Terminator, but there's just a certain kind of uh, feel that the first Terminator that actually makes me like it better than the second one. Because the first Terminator was actually, it was more on the lines of a serial killer movie. Because it the second movie was more on action, but this one, it's more of a silent killer who's just, who, that's the point of the machine, who has human skin. Like, he can walk with humans without, being caught. And it's this kind of idea that puts a Terminator on the same kind of scale as, like, maybe Predator or Michael Myers. Like, even though it's not supposed to have a horror movie feel, that's this sort of effect that comes out, because he's just wandering around. No one suspects that he's a machine, and he just kills people because he's trying to get to this one target. I mean, that's that's why it feels like a serial killer movie. And the shots are always dark. Like, there's not a lot of the movie is shot during the day. And and you also, and since it's the Terminator, there is a sense that, how serial killer movies, the serial killer is always like supernatural. Like, here in this one, he really is like a sort of supernatural kind of a villain that the human main characters have to deal with. And that's why I prefer the first movie to the second. Because the second movie, the main character is, another Terminator. But in this one, since it's human, their limitations, the things that they can't do that the Terminator can do. And you actually feel more for Kyle Reese, the protector in this movie, than you do for the protector in the second one. Like, maybe it's just me, but I had a more of attachment to this guy than the Terminator, because the Terminator in the second movie, he was there. His connection to the audience was more on a, it's like he's being taught how to accept humans. Kyle Reese he already is human. You're just understanding why he's protecting, or why he does what he does, because in the second one he's programmed to protect John. This one, he doesn't. He volunteered. He didn't have to. So it makes his character more interesting, and also because he's human, he's allowed to have emotions. And there's a lot of things that I consider the first one to be superior to the second one. Like, for example, the story. Like, the story is simple. The machines send Terminator to kill the leader of the humans of the future. They sent to kill a Terminator to kill his mother before he was even born, which is already, like, more interesting than just kill him at childhood. And then the humans send in a human protector, to protect, Sarah Connor. And how the Terminator works here is actually, it's more interesting than it does in the second movie. Like, in the second movie, it's kind of just like, since it's John Connor, he gives him a piece of his DNA, and he finds him. In this one, it's more on, they have to look around for resources to try to find Sarah Connor. Like, they don't find Sarah Connor until maybe like the halfway into the movie. And also, there's another level of darkness where Terminator 1 hits that Terminator 2 doesn't hit, where it's like the Terminator's just stalking people. He's like killing people left and right. I mean, the second Terminator did that, but I'll talk about that in the second Terminator review. But what I'm trying to say about the darkness in this movie is, like, it plays more on the idea that this is an assassin rather than just um, it plays more on the role that a story that this is an assassin trying to find a woman, and it's more, and the reason why I'm saying that is because the second movie, it sort of veered off on. I know I'm talking a lot about the second movie when this is a review of the first one, but just hear me out because the second movie really does overshadow a lot of the first movie, which I don't understand. And actually, and so overall, I after watching the first movie a couple of times in the second movie, I'm still leading on the first movie because there's just a lot of to it that I don't know. I just like it more than the second. Like maybe not action wise. Action wise, I go with the second one, but story wise and tone wise, it really hit the tone of like there's an apocalyptic future, in the future, but it hits that tone more than the second one. Whereas like the second one is like, oh, we're gonna try to stop it. Like the first one is sort of it hits the more serious tone of accepting that the future is gonna be dark and just preparing for it. And it's that kind of dark tone that I like better. That's what I'm trying to say.